All right, so let's cover grade 11 PBL2 gamma gear. And so in this PBL, they're going to talk about electromagnetic spectrum, which is all the different types of what we call electromagnetic radiation that's found in the universe. And so there's actually about 7 parts to it. The students are going to really focus on gamma rays, X rays, ultraviolet rays. Oh, I'm sorry, these are all the parts: gamma rays, X rays, ultraviolet waves, infrared waves, microwaves, radio waves. And so as they go through, they're going to research the harmful effects of these ultraviolet waves and produce an infomercial about a product of their choice that will help protect from the harmful effects of the electromagnetic spectrum. So the driving question: how can young inventors help to protect people and the environment from the harmful effects of the electromagnetic spectrum? So they'll do this through the project requirements. One, they'll create a pictograph, a pictorial diagram about the EM spectrum and the harmful effects. They'll create a prototype brief about their product they designed to protect against harmful effects of EM spectrum. And then they'll lastly design an infomercial pitch explaining how your product will help protect from the harmful effects of electromagnetic spectrum. And so let's go through the Ignite, Discover, Connect, and Apply section, looking at how that'll all come about. So with Ignite, they're going to start by looking at uses of electromagnetic waves. There's lots of uses of them, even though we can only see one section, and that's the visible light. And so a little bit about electromagnetic waves is what the kids will read. They'll learn about applications, how they're used on Earth, how we use these different rays to help us, hurt us, things like that. And so then for the first week's assignments, they're going to focus on their check-in. And then they'll focus on their pictorial diagram. And so let's look a little bit at that. But first, let me go back and cover the standards we're going to talk about. So in math, there'll be analysis, given information, analyzes given information, formulate a plan or strategy, determine a solution, justify the solution, and then create and use representations to organize, record, and communicate mathematical ideas. And then for the science aspect, they'll be exploring characteristics and behaviors of energy transferred by these waves, and then organize and make inferences and predict trends from data. And we also have our SELs, our ELPs, our technology, and our CTE standards. And so the pictorial diagram, it gives instructions on the first page of what they need to do. And then they're going to look at infrared, ultraviolet, and X-rays. And so on these little boxes, it tells them, click here, add your list for infrared. And so the students will do that for each one of them for both the harmful, but they're looking at harmful effects. So what are the harmful effects of infrared rays or waves? What are the harmful effects of ultraviolet? And what are the harmful effects of X-rays? And so actually it's kind of intriguing because the colors are also because of the different names: infrared, ultraviolet, and then X-rays, which is kind of grayish green. And so that's what the first week will be. That's the final assignment for the first week, is filling in this pictorial diagram about the electromagnetic spectrum. And so as we go back now, let's look at the Discover and Connect. So in Discover Connect, they're going to look at ultraviolet radiation and how we can protect against it. Okay, so they're going to watch a video from its meteorologist explaining this. And then they're going to look at this article, this website right here, to protect yourself from EMR, electromagnetic radiation. Okay, and so that's how scientists refer to it, as electromagnetic radiation. It doesn't always mean it's bad, but some of it is bad. And so there's different things that that students can click on and look at. Okay, so what about phone radiation shields? Or what about mobile radiation? Or what about computer? And so they'll look and click through here and read through and find out information, a little bit of information about these different products and how they could be harmful to us. And as we go on, the students will then start looking at their product design, and looking at, okay, what's a good product, what's a good design, how can that product be useful and helpful, which then leads us to our research guide. And so the research guide, it kind of helps walk them through, here are the waves or the rays in the electromagnetic spectrum. And then the students will just kind of sit here and answer these questions to help with their product design and product idea. Okay, and then they'll turn that into Schoology. And then the other thing they'll do is then they'll do a prototype brief. So now a design and pitch challenge. So how does your product do and how does it work? So the students will then talk about it and explain how their product works. Their product, once again, being to protect against harmful effects of the electromagnetic spectrum, share marketing comparisons, and then justify your product helps to solve problems. All right. And so and then he goes through even more, kind of walking the students through a product brief and how they would describe their product and how does it help and how does it do this and how does it compare to something that maybe is already on the market versus something that's not on the market. And so that would be the prototype brief for the Discover and Connect section. And then in the applied section, so now once again looking at what are electromagnetic waves, health impacts of those. They're going to look at this website entitled Should You Be Worried About EM? And kind of gives them a bit of overview, or EMF, electromagnetic magnetic fields, electric and magnetic fields. And so kind of walks them through different things, what's bad, what's good, what's harmless, what's not harmless, and things like that. So a really good website. And then they'll be working to write their script for their infomercial pitch about their product. And so be sure to explain how the product and how it will help protect from the harmful effects of the electromagnetic spectrum. And so they'll do their pitch, submit their informational pitch. Which will look like this. Okay, so it's basically going to have them walk through writing their script for their pitch. So, I say this and you say that and he says this and then we laugh together, or whatever the case is. But it's a box given for the students so they can work and write through their informational script. So they'll submit that, and then finally they'll submit their infomercial recording. Oh, there's another thing. So you also have how infomercials work, and then how to pitch, the how to pitch guide. So the infomercial looks like this. It's 1 through 5. Kind of the students look at what's their audience, what's their strategy, what's background stories they may have, popularity, and then any testimonies they may have, and then also the how to pitch guide, which will, so it kind of gives them, start by introducing yourself, your business, tell us about your product, tell us a story, tell your customers the price history, and then finally engage your customers. So it gives them kind of a walkthrough help on that to build their informational pitch. And then recording it's due for the final day, May the 22nd, and that is PBL2. Then you have a reflect and adapt, which is always important for students to do after they have done their project. And then at the very end, you have special ed support, ELL support, and then for GT, you have the depth and complexity questions. Okay, so that is PBL2 for grade 11, Gamma Gear, looking at the electromagnetic spectrum. So hope you have a great day. Bye.